Hi, I'm your Kingdom Spiritual Transformational and Life Purpose Life Coach and Mentor, Latricia Booker, here with Kingdom Business, where we are empowered, where we heal, we get delivered, and we get free. We know who we are. We elevate our minds and our spirits and raise and expand our consciousness to ultimately walk in our true divine purpose and power, and it is the truth of who God has created us to be. Kingdom people, we are history makers, we are world changers, we are dream successors, we are wealth generators, we are manifestors, we are curse breakers, and we most definitely are transformers, more than meets the eye. Yeah, Kingdom people, we are. Kingdom people, thank you so much for viewing my videos. Thank you for the likes, subscribes, the shares, for all of the financial contributions to my channel, and for all the seeds that you sow into me and my ministry. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for all of your comments. I really do appreciate everything you do here on Kingdom Business. Thank you, Kingdom people. Thank you. So, Kingdom people, you already know what I'm here to do. And if you don't know, now you know. I am here to drop this, beat this, word this message. Yeah. Kingdom people, I am the chain breaker. Kingdom people, you are chain breakers too. Are y'all ready to break some chains? Let's go. So listen, this is what God had been speaking to me. So a while ago, he was talking to me about this, but he brought it back to me this morning. And he's saying that your enemies will always be at the mercy of slavery. He said that your enemies will always be at the mercy of slavery. So what he's pretty much saying is those ones who were coming against you, those ones who were trying to attack you, those ones who were trying to stop your destiny, stop you from moving in your purpose, just trying to bring you down and just doing everything to put obstacles in your way, even to the extent of trying to keep you from prospering even financially. And, you know, it's some people that it's so crazy, but I have to speak on this, that don't want you to do well even financially. They don't want you to have nothing. And the thing is this, Kingdom people, it's your destiny. You are destined, many of you, to be wealthy. You are destined. I'm hearing a kingdom financer. You are destined to be a kingdom financer, which means you have to have wealth to finance the kingdom. You are destined to prosper. It's in your destiny. It is written. God already wrote it, stamped it, and approved it. It's a done deal, and there are people who have an issue with where you're going, what you're doing, even with some of you for where you are now. And they know that you are going into better and brighter days, that you're walking into more and more prosperity. I'm hearing you're walking into your wealthy place, or a wealthier place for some of you. You're walking into your promised land, or a bigger promised land for some of you. Point is, God is saying that these ones that want you to be broke, busted, and disgusted, and it's like they don't want you to have nothing. They literally want you to be in poverty. It's what I'm hearing. Poverty. Some of these people came to people, not all of them, but there are some that want you to be homeless with nothing, begging. And this is something that blew me this morning. It's not the first time God brought this to my attention, but this came up this morning. Some people want to see you and your child or children suffer. They want you and your child or your children just to be out. Your children. Now, what I gathered from that, your children ain't doing nothing to them. Neither are you. But to put children in it. To put children in it. But that's just how bad that they don't want to see you prosper. But what's happening, Kingdom people, God is saying that they are at the mercy. They will always be at the mercy of slavery. This is what God is giving me, slavery. And what he's saying is, whatever they get, whatever they have to have, even if they work a job, Their job feels like slavery to them. And it might be. Because if you got a boss, and I'm not throwing no shade on no boss, because we bosses kingdom people, but we don't slave people, or we don't abuse people. And I'm not saying that these people are being abused. They might be. But whatever they do, they have to slave to get it, is what I'm saying. Whatever they do, they are a slave. They have to slave to get it. And this is the key here. They are still in poverty. They're not prospering. Now, that some of these people may have at one point kind of been in a better place or a better situation. But because they were trying to stop, block you, and everything else they were trying to do with you to put you in poverty, to make you, listen, kingdom people, their slave, so that they could prosper. They wanted you to be their slave so that they could prosper off of your work and off of whatever it is that you have to offer. And God is saying that they will always be at the mercy of slavery because of that. Now, Hebrews 2:14 and 15 says, therefore, since the children share in flesh and blood, he himself likewise also partook of the same, that through death he might render powerless him who had the power of death, that is the devil, and might free those who through fear of death were subject to slavery all their lives. So what God is saying here, this is kind of complex even for me. I'm going to try to explain this the best way that I can. Pretty much, he's rendering these people powerless. The end of this scripture says, the devil and might free those who through fear of death were subject to slavery all their lives. These people are rendered powerless, and they are being subject to slavery all the days of their lives. But God is saying in particular that this is because they were coming against you. They were trying to put you in slavery and put you in poverty. And this is what they're being subject to. Now think about a slave. Even the children, from the children of Israel back in Egypt to black people in America. What did slaves do? They worked for little or nothing. Well, they worked for nothing actually, but they were mistreated. They were considered, not even useless, because the fact that they were working to build or to make things happen for the benefit of their owners means that they were worth something. However, they didn't get much compensation for it, except for maybe a place to live, something to eat. They were not their own people. They were not free people. They were owned by others. They were slaves. And the work that they did were for the benefit of their slave owners. And so what's happening here is these people are subject to that. Now let me add this too. Slaves worked for their slave owners, but they were still in poverty. They had nothing. They only had what their slave owners allowed them to have, which is pretty much food or shelter. Then there were some that were, there were some exceptions where, they get a little extra incentive if there was something special about them, or their slave owner deemed them unique in some kind of a way, shape, or form where it could benefit them. It was all about benefiting them. And they used the slaves to benefit them, but the slaves were all still not free and in poverty. And so what I'm getting to here is that's what your enemies are subjected to. And God is saying your enemies will always be at the mercy of slavery. Always. Simply because that's where they were trying to put you, at the mercy of slavery. And I'm going to add poverty here, because that's what I keep hearing. They were trying to make you their slave, and they wanted you to be in poverty, and that's what they are at the mercy of. They messed with you, kingdom people, and all their lives are going to do is go down from here on out. And what I mean by that is they won't be free unless they repent, of course, and turn from their wicked ways. But these people that God is giving me in particular, they're too prideful. Not only are they too prideful, kingdom people, I'm finna say something to y'all that God put me up on. Some of them are not interested in God for real. Not like that. They're not interested. They really not about their life. They don't care to turn away from their ways and do things God's way. They don't care to. They're really so stuck in what they're stuck in and don't want to change. And I'm hearing right now that that's why they don't want you to prosper. They don't want you to continue to walk in the things of God, because they not. They want to use you for their benefit. They want to be your slave owner and you be their slave. And they benefit off of you by getting you to do the work, whatever work they want done for their benefit, just like a slave owner. They want to be your slave owner. They want you to be in poverty. And part of the reason why they want you to be in poverty at this point is because they couldn't do with you what they wanted to do. Now I'm finna put y'all up on something. I'm finna say a little something extra. It's really on my spirit to share this. This morning, now for a while, God had been talking to me about this. He had been showing me this. And this morning, he gave me the vision. He was literally showing me this. Okay, let me tell you what it is. There are some men, some women, maybe some men too. But God particularly spoke to me about, showed me the image of a woman that is trying to do spells, trying to do black magic, all that, whatever. But what's happening is whoever this is has a family. They have a spouse and they have children. And they don't do it at home. They leave to go do whatever it is that they do on you, kingdom people. God is also saying, he showed me this morning. Like I said, he showed me an image of a woman doing this, driving off to somewhere, I guess in the woods, I don't know, to do her little rituals or practices, a hoodoo, voodoo, boo-boo, purple magic, black magic, whatever. But what God showed me that really blew me this morning a little bit is he said, look at me saying she, because it's a she who he's showing me. Now, again, this is mainly women doing this, but it very well could be some men doing it as well. But what I saw was, because men do it too, what I'm specifically speaking of right now are women who are married or in relationships with children, in a relationship or married to the opposite sex. Let me say that. A woman with a husband or a woman with a mate that's male. And they have children. Their children in the house. Their children. I don't know if they're biological or not. I don't know all that. But what God showed me today that blew my mind is that this person is also doing this not only to you, kingdom people, but to their own spouse and their own children. And what God said to me is this. The spouse is no longer interested in them. So what they're doing is trying to keep the spouse bound to them, keep them from leaving, but also trying to get them to love them again by doing spells and black magic and all that stuff. And what God told me is that they're doing this stuff to their children to keep them bound so that they can't prosper. Blew my mind, kingdom people, because I'm like, someone would go that far to keep their child bound and keep them from prospering, that they'll do work on them. Now, I've heard spells and all that kind of stuff, black magic. I've heard of that, but usually I've heard of it with adult children, parents that do it on their adult children. This specifically was God showing me this person doing it on their minor. Wait a minute, is that minor? Yeah, minor, right, y'all? Yeah, minor, a minor, under the age of 18. Or maybe even under the age of 21. But the whole point is to keep them from being anything, from getting from up out of their reach. And it tripped me out. I've heard of parents being jealous of their children and not wanting to prosper, but this one blew my mind because these are younger children that God was showing me. So I just want to point that out, just to, I don't know, for some reason that was on me to share that someone who has tried to do this to you, it has turned it around and started doing it on their own family. And not just their husband or wife maybe, or, you know, just their mate, but they're doing it on their minor children as well. Well, God was showing me that this is a person that does not want to be alone. This is a person that is angry. This is a person that has become angry that they're not able to do what they're trying to do with you. And many of them are still trying to do it. They're remorseful. They're sad that it's not working. They're regretful, yet not to the point to where they're stopped. They just keep going and keep going and keep going because this is just, they done got so caught up in that wheel. You know how a wheel get to going, it's hard to stop it. You know, like a train going real fast. You can't just, it takes a minute to get that train to stop. You gotta, they gone. So it's like they just keep going. To the point that, like I said, they done extended it or included their own mate and children. They done turned that hatred towards you, towards their own family as well. And what I'm getting literally right now, in this case, these are families that were involved in whatever was trying to be done to you. And because it failed, they're punishing the family members, the children too. But the whole point is to keep them bound, to keep them stuck, to keep them blinded. Yeah. I'm going to leave that alone. But it was just on me to share that. God was literally showing me that this morning. Like I said, he showed me an image of a woman doing this, riding off to somewhere. All I seen was trees, like a wooded area, to do the black magic and the spells and stuff. Because they can't really do it at home because they live with people. So anyway, kingdom people, back to your enemies will always be at the mercy of slavery. Well, God told me to bring that up because them ones will always be at the mercy of slavery. That's what's happening. They're trying to even keep their own family bound. And in slavery, there it is. They're trying to make their own family their slaves, their children, and their mate. But that person will always be at the mercy of slavery. And I can't say what happened to their family. I don't know. He didn't give me all that. But I'm going to go on. John 8:34 says, Jesus answered them, truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who commits sin is the slave of sin. So, kingdom people, these people, we already know they're very sinful. They live out of their sinful nature. They continuously commit sin. In a way, in this case, not just in this way, of trying to come at you, stop you, block you, but these are just sinful natured people. Very much so. They don't care nothing about doing the right thing. And he says that he who commits sin is a slave of sin. So they're a slave to their own sin, which means they're a slave because of their own sin, but that extends and leaks into all areas of their lives. And going back to these ones who are doing this now to their family, they want their families to be a slave of sin, but what I'm really hearing is they're a slave. So they're trying to keep them entrapped. And they're also punishing them for whatever didn't prosper with you, kingdom people. I know this is deep, but this is literally what I'm getting. People are a slave of their own sin, and these ones are. Let's go on to Acts 8:23. For I see that you are in the gale of bitterness and bondage of iniquities. Kingdom people, this is what's happening with these people. They are in the gale of bitterness and in bondage. Clearly, they're bitter. Because, I mean, I want to say because what they are trying to do with you is not working, so they're bitter. And I'm hearing right now, and people are turning away from them. People don't want to have nothing to do with them. What they were trying to do to you is what's happening to them. They were probably trying to get people to turn against you, not want to deal with you. I just heard the people. Some of the ones they was trying to turn against you, you would be glad if they did turn against you. Because some of these people you ain't want to be bothered with anyway. But that's a whole other thing. But the point is, they were trying to get people to turn away from you, walk away from you, not want to have nothing to do. They just didn't want you to have nothing. And what's happening is that what they were trying to do with you is backfiring on them. It's happening to them, and now they're bitter. They're bitter because it's turning around on them, and what they're trying to do towards you is not working. They are in bondage. And it says of iniquities. So if you continue to sin and sin and sin and steadily trying to just do all this harm to not just you, kingdom people, but others, your family, for those of them that are doing that, their children, minor children, you are bondage of your iniquities. And then they're bitter. That's why I'm hearing. That's why they're doing it to their family and their children, because they are bitter. And listen, that's what bitter people do. Try to hurt other people. I'm hearing hurt people hurt people. I like to say hurt people try to hurt people because they can't hurt me. Not no more. You know, sometimes you go and do enough hurt till you learn hurt and you figure out hurt and you get behind hurt and in front of hurt and all around hurt and understand how this hurt go. So you remove the hurt in you so you can't be hurt no more. You feel me? Anyway, kingdom people, your enemies will always be at the mercy of slavery. I'm hoping this is making sense. I'm hoping I'm explaining this to the, yeah. Like I said, this was a little complex for me. And I'm like, okay. I was over here like, like man boggle. But I get it. I do get it. I'm understanding, but again, it is a little complex and a little more maybe difficult to articulate. I'm hoping I've done my due diligence. Anyhow, kingdom people, I'm going to say it one more time. Your enemies will always be at the mercy of slavery. Kingdom people, I am going to let that rest right there. If you like this video and or if it resonates with you, please just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, click on that red subscribe button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Thank you. And for those of you who have been viewing the videos but have not subscribed, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. It helps to promote the channel. It helps to get the message out. So I would really appreciate that if you just go ahead and click on that red subscribe button. Thank you. Also, click on that bell right next to that red subscribe button so that you can get a notification every time I upload a new video, something like this one. Also, if you are interested in any of the services that I presently offer, you can find all the information right down below in the description box. If you would like to support the channel, sow a seed into me on my ministry, you can absolutely cash at me at cash.me/$LBooker and the number 1. You can also PayPal me at paypal.me/Latricia Booker. So, kingdom people, we are history makers. We are world changers. We are dream successors. We are wealth generators. We are manifestors. We are curse breakers, and we most definitely are transformers. More than meets the eye. Yeah, kingdom people, we are. Kingdom people, I love you all so very much. I really do appreciate you being here with me, spending this time with me. You could be anywhere else, but you chose me, and I thank you for that. So, kingdom people, y'all know I don't want to leave you, but I do have to go right now. But I will be back to hold you down. With that being said, much love, light, and peace, and many blessings to you all. Kingdom people, that is my time. Jesus girl, she's out. Peace.